We all want to thrive, and equally, we want to ensure that adequate systems and facilities are in place to accomplish this desire. Today, we see how the government is helping to make this a reality for all. Hi there, I'm Theodore Henry, and once again, I'll be taking you through the pages of another edition of Jamaica Magazine.
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Search for its breeding sites and destroy them. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Good day, I'm Andrea Chisholm and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, February 3. Government has mobilized resources across several ministries as it takes a coordinated approach to minimize the impact of the Zika virus on Jamaica. The response is being led by the Ministry of Health, and in a national broadcast Tuesday night, Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller said the necessary funds were being provided for the intervention.
The Ministry of Health will spend an additional $200 million to deal with the Zika virus threat. At the same time, a major cleanup campaign will be undertaken by the Ministry of Transport, Works and Housing under the JEEP program with funding from the Tourism Enhancement Fund.
Prior to that broadcast, the Prime Minister met with members of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica to update them on government's plans. PSOJ President William Mahfood said companies were fully on board and would be mobilizing staff members to carry out sensitization campaigns starting at their own business places. And more details on government's Zika response plan were provided in a press briefing at Jamaica House yesterday. Simone Wolf has more in this report.
The World Health Organization has declared the Zika virus infection a public health emergency of international concern. In response to the threat and one confirmed local case, the Health Ministry has activated its National Emergency Operations Center. Fever and rash surveillance has also been heightened island-wide, while a fogging blitz began in the Portmore community where the first case was confirmed Friday night. 1,894 households in and around that community have also been visited.
They are visited to check for fever, and interviews were conducted with 1,355 persons. Blood samples were collected from 15 persons arising out of the visits to these 1,894 homes. And these were sent off to the lab in Trinidad.
At the national level, 200 volunteers will be drawn from the National Youth Service, some of whom will be trained by the Ministry of Health and deployed to the high-risk parishes for a period of 4 weeks.
They'll be trained by the Ministry of Health in terms of what is necessary. They'll be deployed, they'll give out the pamphlets and information, and the NYS will actually pay them a stipend of $7,000 per week.
Other NYS volunteers will focus on public education through the social media platforms, while another set will be assigned to help members of Parliament execute their cleanup campaigns across all constituencies. In addition to leading this Friday's National Cleanup Day in schools, the Education Ministry will be providing educational institutions with repellents.
If we could, we'd like some repellent to be available in every classroom, but if that's not possible, certainly in every school.
School administrators are also mandated to look for and remove current and potential mosquito breeding sites once per week. And the local government ministry is making funds available to clean gullies while assisting with the Health Ministry's public education campaign.
The program includes town hall meetings, flyers, town criers, ads, radio and cable. We have trained 863 persons to join residents already this year to disseminate information and to try to identify and destroy breeding sites.
The Jamaica Defense Force JDF is also supporting government's Zika virus response plan. Chief of Defense Staff Major General Anthony Anderson says the military has been helping to destroy mosquito breeding sites and supporting the dissemination of information to the public.
What we do is track it, see what's happening across the region with respect to Zika virus and where it's moving to, looking at some of the challenges that other places have had, like Brazil, and we deploy our men to whatever is required.
Major General Anderson was speaking at a press conference following the 14th Caribbean Nations Security Conference CANSEC held last week. In other news, farmers in 10 parishes across the island will be benefiting from rehabilitated roadways by the end of this financial year. Contracts valuing $182 million were signed for the repairs of 22 farm roads at Jamaica House on Tuesday. The funds were disbursed under Phase 2 of the National Farm Roads Rehabilitation Program.
The activities being undertaken include resurfacing, patching, cleaning, construction and improvement to drainage, central maintenance and improvement.
The National Farm Roads Rehabilitation Program is expected to impact over 220,000 farmers, increasing access to their farms and markets for their produce. And finally, with forecast for less than normal rainfall between January and March, a call is being made for persons to install rainwater harvesting systems. Water Minister Robert Pickersgill made the call, saying the rainwater could be used for domestic and agricultural use in times of need.
The government, under the instruction of the Prime Minister, has advised, and I know the Minister of Agriculture is doing it, we're going to help out with some black tanks. And my ministry too will be trying to help you with some black tanks. So any way you can preserve the water, make sure you do it.
In the meantime, he said the ministry was finalizing rainwater harvesting guidelines for the parish councils, which would be overseeing the implementation at the local level. And that's it for GIS News today. Amandra Chisholm, thank you for watching.
There'll be a better tomorrow. 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 There'll be a day. There'll be a way. There'll come a time to sing a brand new song. There'll be a better tomorrow.
We want our country to continue to experience positive growth. To accomplish this, the government has to ensure that everyone is allowed to contribute to and benefit from the process of development. The government has therefore put in place a number of programs and policies to ensure equality in opportunities, especially for the most vulnerable.
$6 billion boost to Jamaica's social protection strategy. $3 billion for education system transformation program. Sexual harassment bill tabled in Parliament. Just some of the strategic actions being undertaken by government to have effective social inclusion for all citizens. The Portia Simpson Miller-led administration is focused on protecting the most vulnerable in society: the poor, children, senior citizens, and persons with disabilities.
Another central plank of the economic reform program has been my insistence and my government's commitment that there would be no neglect of the social agenda. This called for major investments by the government in social programs for vulnerable groups as well as in areas such as health and education.
Back in November 2015, government signed a $9 billion loan agreement with the Inter-American Development Bank to facilitate the expansion of key social protection programs. $6 billion went towards the program of advancement through health and education path.
The project will consist of 4 components. Expansion of the cash grants, particularly to children and to pregnant and lactating women that live in households, enhancing the services of PATH to support parenting programs more significantly, and designing new payment systems and modernizing the Ministry of Social Security Services.
Funds from the loan are already being utilized to benefit the disabled community. On January 20, 2016, ground was broken for the construction of an $87 million multipurpose facility for young children with a disability under the Early Stimulation Program.
It will be speaking to increasing access and coverage, particularly of vulnerable population groups.
Moves to level the playing field for boys and girls in education and training were also boosted with November's signing of the IDB support loan. The Education System Transformation Program received $3 billion to improve performance standards and ensure greater accountability at all levels of the educational system.
We want to use the social component of this loan to really enhance the strength of our parents and their engagement in school. The issue of behavior modification is high on our agenda and part of the next phase of educational transformation.
Efforts to mainstream gender in development have also been gaining traction.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice that at the next meeting of the House, I will move to introduce and have read a first time a bill shortly entitled the Sexual Harassment Act 2015.
In December, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller tabled the island's first sexual harassment bill. If passed, the bill will address sexual harassment in the home, workplace, and institutions, and the actions that can be taken against persons who commit such offenses. Government is committed to ensuring that there is equal access to public goods, whether it's the poor, the disabled, senior citizens, our women, or our children.
Unattached youth can be easily excluded from social and economic opportunities. Through the work of the Heart Trust NTA, young people are being given access to practical training programs to equip them with the tools to participate in public life.
I was unemployed.
I was not working. I was home.
I was unemployed at home, not doing anything, just home, not doing anything.
The reality that has faced these young people and thousands more is being changed because of a timely and relevant program of the government. It's one designed to create fully skilled young professionals, and it's being dubbed the Heart Trust Unattached Youth Program.
What is it that can give us greater happiness and fulfillment than to engage and to assist in those who for one reason are weaker in terms of their attainments to do better?
When you look at the statistics, some persons are putting out there as much as 150,000 persons who are out there who are unattached, not meaningfully engaged in any other activities. And so we need to now look at how is it that we are going to treat with that particular group. Of course, we don't have the requisite resources to treat with all 150,000 in any one year. However, the minister has asked that we make a meaningful intervention in treating with those persons from that particular grouping.
We must make Jamaica attractive to investors, local and foreign, on the basis of having the most trained workforce, appropriately trained and attitudinally competent.
And so we have put together a program to treat with the underserved youth and to see how we can best impact at least 15,000, as the minister indicated.
Yes, the Education Minister has mandated Jamaica's national training agency, the Heart Trust NTA, to intensify its focus on the E in the agency's acronym, representing employment. One of the ways that the agency has been doing this is through its Unattached Youth Program, which is targeting youth 17 to 30 years old. The program is now in its pilot phase, operating in northeast Manchester, western St. Andrew, and the community of Seaview Gardens.
The program model is in three forms. First of all, some persons will be on the apprenticeship program that we have. Some persons will be on pre-tech program depending on our assessment as to their readiness to take on the curriculum here at Hartrust NTA. And some persons will be put on a full NVQJ path where they're on a training program that will lead to the full NVQJ certification, either within our institutions or existing community centers.
So even if you do not have any CXCs, HEART has something for you. You could be placed in the pre-tech program, learning basic mathematics and English to get qualified for the next level. Young people in Northeast Manchester are making progress under this program.
Non-verbal communication, poor communication between employees and company management.
At Northeast Manchester, there are currently 138 persons who are enrolled across 6 skill areas primarily at Caenwood. So we have 138 persons in this region, and there are 2 locations in this region, the Caenwood Technical High School, of course, and the Shudley Resource Center.
I've been learning a lot because we just finished a unit on communications, and we also did health and safety procedures as well.
Learn about data operation, and it's a pretty good thing. Learn to fit a computer up, learn software skills, and a lot more. I think it would benefit me because we get certified at the end.
So at the end of this course, if they do not land themselves a job within an organization, they can become entrepreneurs because they can open their own computer shops and do their repairs and do their softwares as well.
So how were these unattached youth selected?
We were in contact with persons from the communities, and we asked them to spread the word. We sent out some flyers, spread the word to the young people that this program is coming up and we need persons for the different skill area. They applied to the Hartrust, and we did for the persons who were not readily qualified with their CXCs, SSC, we had them sit the hard test, and the persons who were successful in the testing and who had CXCs, we had a day where we came up here with our team and we had interviews for them, and from there we did the selection, and then we had a week of orientation for them.
Areas currently covered in the program range from data operations to housekeeping to motor vehicle repairs. Classes are held Mondays to Thursdays at an established time, with some students in the apprenticeship program receiving on-the-job training. As a bonus, students receive a small stipend of $500 daily or $2,000 a week for the duration of their program just to attend classes. More important, at the end, you get internationally recognized certification from the Hartrust NTA.
At the end of the program, they will be well-rounded. So applying to the hotels or even guest houses or on cruise ships, they shouldn't have a problem because they'll be well-rounded to work in any of these areas.
Your shoulders,
Youth with disabilities are also included, as one of the action plans is to offer information and communication technology ICT training to them.
What we're going to do as we roll the program out further is to make sure that persons with disability are not disenfranchised, and that we begin to create an environment that will allow persons with disability to be meaningfully engaged.
So for now, the pilot is only in 3 areas. But once that's completed, the program will be rolled out in all constituencies island-wide.
Wherever you have the greater concentration of unattached or underserved, that's the area in which we would want to put our intervention.
And we are hoping that at the end of the day, for all persons that we have engaged, we can place them in jobs. Or for the persons who are so inclined, that we can give them a startup kit to start their own business.
It's going to benefit me because I will be receiving a level 2 certificate from Hartrust. So that will help me in the process of getting a job in a data operations company.
It has been good. I mean, I wasn't doing anything and now I'm doing something with the hopes of doing better in the future. So any form of upliftment from one stage to the other is always good. Ultimately, I'd like to get a job, then open my own business.
When
not if, when I get my certificate, I'm going to go much further in life. I'm looking at sky high.
See, you got to work for the things life requires. Yes, you've got to work for the things you need.
So it's the second month of 2016, and still dancing around in your head is that big plan you wanted to get going, but you haven't made much headway. You are either paralyzed by fear or anxiety. When you think about your fears or anxieties, ask yourself this question: what's the worst that can happen? If you have already faced the worst, then when you think about it, there's nothing left to fear. Remember, every problem has a solution, even if it's not immediately apparent, and most issues are temporary. But sometimes we need a little help to take the plunge to get past our fears. Give these ideas a try, even if it's only one time. Take baby steps. Find ways to pace yourself and work towards that big goal. Now let's say you have a fear of public speaking. You can start by practicing in front of a mirror. Then try talking to a few co-workers. Then practice in front of some family members. Then in a room with 25, then 50 persons, and so on. Baby steps. Accept the fact that you are fearful. Take deep, slow breaths and relax. Tell yourself that it's going to be okay. Simply acknowledging the fear and laughing about it can go a long way to making things a lot easier. Don't give yourself a chance to back out. If you're afraid of trying something, burn the bridge behind you so that you have no choice but to move forward. If you're afraid to run a race, for example, sign up and pay for it before you can change your mind. If you're anything like me, you'd hate to waste money that you've already spent, so you might as well prepare to run. And finally, don't be afraid to turn to others to help you conquer your fears. You don't have to face your fear alone. So if you're afraid of talking to people, grab a more outgoing friend and have them go out with you until you develop the skill and confidence to go it alone. If we want to improve, grow, and learn, we need to consistently face our challenges and the things that make us uncomfortable. Don't allow your fears or anxieties to determine how you live your life, but wade into the deep end to drown that fear and to become more than you've ever been before.
A healthy and educated people living in a clean, natural environment, reducing crime, improving the justice system and governance, building a prosperous economy. It's not just a vision, it's reality. Learn about the plan. Join the vision.
My country, Jamaica, has a rich heritage and is very unique. If we all pull together, we can make it the place of choice to live, work, raise family, and to do business.
For more information on Vision 2030, call the Planning Institute of Jamaica or visit vision2030.gov.jm, your parish library, school library, or the Jamaica Information Service.
The government is also using a novel approach to build bridges in the tourism industry. They are ensuring that the economic earnings from the tourism product is converted to sustainable development by connecting local producers with purchasers through the Tourism Linkages Hub.
This is not a regular meeting. This is connecting local producers with tourism buyers.
We have opened a linkages hub in the Ministry of Tourism. And what happens there is that we are trying to ensure that everything that is consumed, that is used in the tourism sector, that we can see if it can be grown or manufactured here in Jamaica.
When it is that the tourism sector buys from the productive sector, buys from the local industry, engages services of the local industry, then it is that we will say that the tourism industry is serving Jamaica well.
And so an idea was born. The idea of deepening the linkages between tourism and the productive services, such as agriculture, manufacturing, and entertainment. The linkage has been a welcomed initiative by local producers.
Manufacturers, farmers, and hoteliers are sitting at the table together and speaking about what our wants and needs are, what our requirements are, and what our opportunities can be for each other. And it's been positive. We have been able to secure orders from large international companies such as Sandals, Marriott Courtyard.
This is how the initiative works. The overarching body is the Tourism Linkages Council. The council consists of 12 members.
The mandate I've given the council is to double this margin of local purchases, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the visitors are coming to Jamaica, and these goods and products must be purchased. Let us produce more of what is consumed so that Jamaicans can earn more from tourism and retain those earnings here in Jamaica.
The council is a group of persons who have all volunteered to come and work on the council itself. So you have representatives from the GHTA, the Jamaica Manufacturers Association, JAMPRO, the Jamaica Agricultural Society, and a whole bunch of persons who believe that, that they have something to contribute to the mandate of the council.
The plans and objectives of the council are implemented by a unit in the ministry called the Tourism Linkages Hub. So far, the Linkages Hub has embarked on a number of projects to ensure the tourism sector is buying from local producers. There has been speed networking sessions where executives of supplier companies and managers of tourism entities get the opportunity to place orders and discuss contracts and prices.
We have had a number of persons reporting that they had contracts. The bedding industry has said that they have had approximately $40 million worth of bedding. There are new projects that are reporting that they're only going to be using local bedding in the industry. There are a lot of new products. Some of our suppliers were in awe that the tourism industry was so receptive of them. So of course there was this perception that we import everything.
A number of consulates and hoteliers are now buying more local items as Christmas gifts, as a result of the Hub's Christmas in July event, which started in 2015. The agricultural sector is also reaping good returns as a result of the Agritourism Farmers Market Initiative.
The first market one reported that it was $14 million that was exchanged based on rather doing their calculation. The second, by the time we reached the third month, it had gone down to 8 and then 6.5 million. And we figured, okay, what is happening here? What had happened is that the farmers had now had relationship with the hotels, so they were now supplying them directly.
The Linkages Council is actually at the Tourism Centre on Knutsford Boulevard. And I think if people, want to learn more about it, they called, they'd be able to get information from the persons there.
The Tourism Linkages Hub, increasing the local earnings derived from the tourism industry. Building tourism, building Jamaica.
Now this is where we close this edition of Jamaica Magazine. If you are using JIS social media connections, however, you can be in the know when we know. So stay connected at jis.gov.jm on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. I'm Theodore Henry, and I leave you with a thought from James Stevens. Curiosity will conquer fear, even more than bravery will.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.